Hey everyone, it's Kong, and here's the 9th issue of the Langrisser Lookout. This is, of course, a bi-weekly series where I go over some noteworthy game news, and then follow it up with an update on my own account progress. Apologies in advance if the visuals in this episode are a little bit perfunctory. This is going to be the I stayed up too late last night watching Dark on Netflix episode. So let's get started with the Community News Roundup. There's actually a lot of news to get caught up on this week. In, I guess what you can call PvE news, there was a bit of a snafu on the Android store last week. For the better part of a day, the 1500 crystal pack was selling for $2 instead of $50. No one's really happy about the results. LangM did claw back the crystals and vouchers from people who made the purchase, but didn't actually issue any refunds, leading some people to seek mitigation through Google. People who jumped on the deal found that the purchase still counted as $50 towards Echo of Light rewards, and other players are upset that people who took advantage of this bug get to essentially keep those rewards from the Echo of Light progress tab event thing, from basically exploiting an unintended storefront pricing bug. Obviously, the company's weird middle ground compromise didn't work for anyone, except maybe LangM, who got to keep everyone's money. And I guess whether they benefit from that in the long run remains to be seen. Personally, I think the only obvious solution is for LangM to give everyone their money back and take back all of the associated things from the purchase. The bottom line is that people who didn't spend the correct amount of money on Echo of Light rewards shouldn't have those Echo of Light rewards, but if LangM took back the product that they essentially sold to these people, then they should give their money back. Now on to some actual celebratory news. We should have information about what China's getting in the 2-year anniversary celebration soon. Most of this information will most likely be coming on Friday when they have a reveal stream. Obviously, good timing again, I'll have to cover the details in the next Lookout. We do have some leaks and rumors in advance of the reveal though. Apparently there will be new troops, a new hero upgrade mechanic that lets you unlock a new soldier and a new skill for individual units, to be rolled out in batches kind of like 3-cost skills. We should also be getting new 3-cost skills for Elwyn and Zerida, no details yet obviously. And the Magical Mystery Tower auto chess mode should be coming back, along with a new equipment banner. Now bear in mind these are still rumors or leaks at this point, but we won't have to wait too long for confirmation. In some really nice news, our time-traveling merchant was added to the game on Sunday, bringing some interesting new loot. Now this new shop seems complicated at first, but it's really fairly simple. You gain star coins by selling old junk items like bronze stuff, silver anarchy materials, and you can get up to 12,000 per week. You can level up the shop itself by buying stuff, so the goal in these early days is really to buy as much stuff as you can to level the store faster. Although I guess there's a limit to how fast you can level the store, because I think to get to level 2 you need 30 purchases, which you can't actually make in the first week. So there's not really a rush, just buy what you need, or buy what you want. You do have plenty of currency though, so there's no real need to try to skimp on stuff. When in doubt, buy it out. After buying everything I could, I still need to do I think 13 more purchases next week to level up. Some of the good items can only be bought at higher levels, but here's some of the interesting new stuff that you can get and how to use it. So we have these new little Angie bots. To use them you basically go into your training expeditions menu when your active expeditions have all come home. You can then use a bot to deploy all 3 expeditions for 24 hours, netting you some more goodies. There are also sweep tickets, and it's important to note these are not the extra Gate of Fate sweep items. This is for Secret Realm sweeps, so anarchies, dragons, and so on. Go into the Secret Realm, and when your sweeps are down to 0, you'll see this little yellow sweep button here. Sweeping from here will ask you to use a ticket, and you can confirm and just get your sweep rewards. There are also specific Secret Realm daily run tickets, so anarchies and dragons and so on. You'll find these in your bag in your items menu, so use the item and it gives you the opportunity to earn an extra batch of daily rewards, but not an extra sweep. So you have to manually do the fight or else use a sweep ticket or save a sweep up for it, I guess. I got my second ever Gift of Eternal Life from my extra Dark Dragon rewards this week, so thank you Time Traveling Merchant. There's also an item that gives you extra Gate of Fate chances, and that should appear at higher store levels. I'm not sure if you can get really lucky with RNG and have them appear right away, but it doesn't look like it. And finally, there's a new type of class mastery stone called Surge Stones. And these let you top up your class mastery, so your Ancient Beckoning Stones, and your Arena Mastery enchants. The Arena ones have their own separate stones, so you won't be able to use a normal attack Surge Stone on your Arena attack stat, for example. And you can only use one per slot, so make sure you have the highest rolls possible and then use the Surge Stone to cap off the stat that you really want to max. Okay, that's a lot of news, and we're not even into the PvP stuff yet. So the Summit der Langrisser Season 3 is of course underway. The third season I find is progressing on a faster schedule, probably because they wanted to get it finished up before the official Apex Arena playoffs. They've narrowed the field to the top 16 this past weekend, so by the time the next Lookout rolls around, we should have a winner to announce. As always, the links to this tournament are below, and you should have access to the Discord by now. They're doing a really great job of announcing when games are on and when games are streaming, so you'll definitely have a lot of PvP to watch if you're interested in following it. The Summit der Benchgrisser trademark. The group stage is concluded, and again, we should be winding down to the finals this coming weekend. And finally, in the Korean Blitz Speed Tournament, that one has actually just concluded, with Gaul defeating Luxid Crosley to take home the trophy. In non-tournament PvP news, Strategy Squad member and Princess Alliance aficionado Nekorin has designed a nice pick-and-ban simulator. This website lets you get practice with different looking boxes, test out different lines with your own box, or try to poke around and find strengths and weaknesses or synergies in a box that you might be designing. I'll put a link in the description below, so definitely check that out if you're interested in figuring out your Apex box. Okay, let's close out this section with some very interesting stats coming out of the Chinese Season 5 playoffs. This first chart shows the top 15 most commonly appearing heroes in Chinese Season 5 playoff boxes in the first round. So, in order, they are Jugler, who appears in 99% of boxes, Liana, Ares, Zerida, Reen, Landius, Wheeler, Deedlit, Bozel, Yusuke, Listel, the Tree Sage, and then Iris is in exactly 50% of boxes, and then Sophia and Arianrod in just under half of the boxes. This chart gives a good idea of the newer characters who made an immediate splash in the meta, with both Ares and Reen appearing in more boxes than even Landius. Now this next chart shows tank usage. Obviously we can see here that Jugler and Landius continue to dominate in terms of tanks. Previously third place, Estelle dropped slightly down to fourth as the new crossover hero Albedo, from Overlord, had a lot of people testing out her potential, so she showed up in almost 10% of boxes in the first round. Interestingly, Leden's usage declined even further, showing that his 3-cost skill and reflective drop near memes didn't help him make much headway back into people's boxes. And here's a similar chart for healers. This one's a bit more interesting. Liana and Wheeler are still extremely popular, but Sophia is now fiercely competing with Iris for third place, taking almost half of her patronage since last season. I'm sure Sophia's unique armor that turns her talent into a kind of mini faction buff really helps in that regard. The new character Florentia also debuts on the list above a plummeting Tiaras. Okay, so that's it for the news. Hopefully that was interesting. Let's move on to the Kong update for August 3rd. So as usual, I'll start with a summoning update, and this week is actually a pretty good one. First, on the Elwyn, Leon, and Bernhardt banner, I spent 30 summons in total. I got Elwyn within the first 10 summons, and then I tossed out another 20 summons fishing for Bern, but I ended up deciding to bank that pity for the next banner. And that next banner was Licorice and Renata, where I spent another 100 summons on top of that 20. I ended up getting Renata in 50 summons, and then I got another Renata in 30, and then finally my last 20 summons got me my Licorice. So these two banners bring my lifetime summoning rate back up to 1.89%, which is actually my highest point since May 25th. Hopefully that trend continues. I'd really love to get back up around 2%. And now we'll move on to talk about my overall goals. In the Eternal Temple, Phoenix was the last boss that I had to tackle, and I did end up getting him, with 6-star Matthew, Almeida, Liana, Leden, and 5-star Elwyn and Leon. Matthew was really just there for attack command, and maybe he tanked one hit, and Almeida was just there to dump debuffs on the bird every turn. Leon roamed the map hunting for Sheikah, and got very lucky RNG with where they spawned. Ledin and Elwyn did the bulk of the damage. With that down, I've finished all the level 70 Eternal Temples finally, so I don't have to think about that anymore. I still had some work to do in Ancient Beckoning though. I took my first attempt at Needhog with 6-star Liana, Yulia, Narm, 5-star Tiaras and Luna, and a 4-star Lana, and ended up with an A+. For my second attempt, I swapped out Narm for Deedlit, and then I had Tiaras at 6-star by that time, and those were big enough improvements for me to get an S rank with 3.7 million points. Then I got kind of bored or restless while waiting for Sleipnir to come back, so I also went in and improved my score on Fenrir, going from 5.4 to 5.8 million. It's not a big improvement, but I also didn't really change anything in my composition, so I'll take it. And finally, I did manage to get my Sleipnir S rank with 5-star Bernhardt, Leon, Luna, Iris, and Olivier, and 4-star Altamuller, logging something like 4.4 million points. This was the exact same team as my attempts last month, but with Bernhardt and Alti's bonds boosted a bit, leveled gear, and Alti's unique helm, I was able to finally push my score up above that threshold. So I'm also done with all the Ancient Beckoning fights, at least in terms of raking in weekly rewards. I may still want to eventually gear up and go back in and try to knock out some of those speedrun achievements. So with all that done, what am I working on now? At least for this month, Forbidden Battlegrounds is back, so I'll spend the month of August trying to do as well as possible in those. In the first week, I did manage to do every achievement except for the Origins of Light on level 70. My Origins team isn't the strongest. And actually my other factions are probably even weaker, so just scraping through a no deaths run on future weeks might be enough, we'll see. Now moving on to my gear. Some interesting things happened this week. I got my first ever Gate of Truth, mainly for collection purposes. I got my first and second Gift of Eternal Life, one from a Dark Dragon sweep last week, and the other from this week's Dark Dragon, courtesy of an extra daily ticket from the Time Traveling Merchant. So in one fell swoop, I've got Deedlit and Yulia settled for gear. Oh, I also got my second King Amulet. This is the only one I've gotten since the free one way back when, and I'm not really sure who to put this on, to be honest. There are a few people that it can be good on, but it's kind of a second place accessory for them. I also got my first Elven Ring, also mainly for collection purposes. It's a nice looking plus attack accessory with flat attack, but the additional attack only kicks in when you're initiating combat, so it does have limited use compared to other attack accessories. I also got my 6th Tenyo's headdress, which I do actually need in the long term, so it's great to have that ready and waiting for me to build when I need it. Now for my gates, with Tiaras having reached 6-star, the winner of the 3rd Gates of Folly community poll, way down here, since he's not super built, was Wheeler. So it seems like I kind of have to have a healer in the rotation at all times. Now Wheeler actually hit 4 stars today. It doesn't look like it because this video was recorded yesterday. And of course the 4th Gates of Folly community poll is live right now. The poll is going to be active all day Monday until the in-game server reset, at which point I'll start farming up whoever wins the vote, all the way until the next issue of the Lookout in 2 weeks. So Wheeler's in the list again since he wants to keep the ball rolling, and I've also added Licorice, who's new to the roster. For my training, my goals from last week were kind of vague. Really just to give some of my used units a little more soldier versatility so that they don't have to use the only level 10 troops I have, regardless of the situation. So I planned on doing a little bit of work towards Skeleton Knights and Crystal Warlocks and edging up other things. In terms of actual progress, it's kind of hard to show because I'm really just picking away at 1 or 2 nodes in each tree. So my strategy is really just to spread the resources and the farming commitments each day. to pick one tech or one troop from each tree and try to get it a level each week. So for example, in infantry, I want to work on one level for Guardian Infantry. In Lancers, which is a very neglected tree for me, I'm probably going to chip away at just the defensive cores. For Cavalry, Rapid Route is a few levels away from level 10, so I'll work on that for a couple of weeks. My Flying and Aquatic tree, I'm still working on the defensive stats, but they're coming along fairly nicely. For Assassins, I'm working on getting one level for Mist Dancers for Joshua each week. And for my Holy and Demon tree, I'm working on... I decided to focus on Crystal Warlocks for now, and then I'll go back to Skeleton Knights after. For Bonds, I actually don't have much to show here because I've actually been fairly poor on guild medals for the past couple of weeks because I was finishing off weird PvE units for Ancient Beckoning. So I wasn't able to start actually bonding up Wheeler after he won the Gates of Folly last cycle. And I hope to be able to remedy that this cycle, so whoever wins, hopefully I'll have enough guild medals to actually give them some attention. And with that, that's going to be it for the Kong update, and that's it for the 9th issue of the Langrisser Lookout. So thanks for watching, and thanks for all your continued support and feedback. Stay tuned for the next episode of Should You Summon later this week, and then I'll catch you in the next Langrisser Lookout.